down for those demon pitches and also the yards or...
All right. So, sorry, let you expand on that because they build the AI tools for companies to apply to their clinical trials, and they also have a side market where they do R&D. They have like one.
Question was, do we have for PPM specific? Any company have a talk out back, and we come to PPM.
That's right, and the answer is no. Fair enough. Okay, so next question. So stand up if you or your team has, or don't, let me clarify this question before you stand up, have some training on AI. But I don't care about security IT training. I mean value generating training. So stand up if you or your team are helping to learn how to use AI to improve their lives in some way, shape, or form. Just go buy that, Cam. If it's training on how to do it and get value out of it.
Specific pizza SGFP. Yeah. Okay, so stand up about third of the room.
We could get on with beef. Houser.
Yeah, but just your point, guy. This is some similar question, but again, just session market yourself. Within your team, for instance, a lunch and learn, or prompt libraries, or hey, look at what I just did, show and tell to help your team. Let me expand PPM to help your team their job. Stand up if you guys are doing that.
Yeah, that pool. That was more of the real, but still not everyone. So that's our connection.
And stand up if your company has an enterprise LLM that you have access to do your,
They had party groups. Just had just the this project. That's it. We just
have a step up our cut. Say yeah first. So half the room doesn't have an enterprise album. Okay, it's interesting to take home and fight for. All right.
So now we'll get a little more meat there. So I'm still going to involve you guys. Basically, what we're gonna do right now is here's discussion of the generating a forecast automatically. It can help the whole organization. So that's one lens to look at. Another lens is kind of how does it help? Is it like the interns fresh out of college, bright-eyed, can't wait to do the work, can't really do that, can't do that, Mitch boom nail, just helping you? Is it more like a peer where it's like, okay, I've got someone that knows what I know and can really dive into it, like summarizing a document efficiently, effectively? I would say more on the peer level. Can't just have an intern summarize a document well. Or is it more orchestrating, really pushing, moving the needle in a way that is hard for an individual human to do? That might take a whole team. So an example is coming up with the whole clinical strategy or asset strategy for to get to market. Typically you get to a room, you have a whole bunch of people who can individually and then come together. Here's what in this bucket. How are you this together? AI could theoretically, but curious if in practice, propose that for the team and have the team fine tune it. Agentic models I have on the side, I don't want to redefine, everyone's got the definitions we know. I would say agentic can apply anywhere. It's as opposed to just proposing, it's doing. Get into each box. So okay, let's brainstorm. And I've got some examples, I got things we've heard of, things i2e has actually done. But I want each and every one of you to think to the degree of your company or for you there's been done anything. Can you share it with the group yet? Or doesn't have to be a place. Could be just something we just started yesterday as a kickoff. For instance, I know that's happened in this room.
So we have created a chatbot based off of our one source of truth data, and so you can interact with it to ask these questions from milestones, duration type of questions. Still working on it, but we do have a great support. Our company is extremely curious. We've always been innovation forward, so that's amazing to have that opportunity. So we are given the opportunity to play. And as you mentioned, we do have those lessons learned, so it's lunch and learn, whatever it is, so that we can kind of continue to feed that in. But right now, we for finance where we at least given a supplement so that people can just go and ask questions versus looking at a report.
So Dush, since you named Fastware, I'll ask, are you using their Oscar feature or it's something internal?
Yeah.
There. Okay. So that's a concrete example. When you guys have password, they've got this solution Oscar that's in their latest version. As far as I know, 0 people have used it in practice. But is there anyone else back there who's going to start testing it out? Can share what a project might be?
I think you're trying to make eye contact. So we're trying to get acquainted with Oscar, Biosware, and that's as far as we're at. In general, though, in Pfizer, there was a lot of openness to get it to AI, but it's one step forward and then we learn something and 2 steps back and then 1 step forward. I think a big thing about that is because we're highly regulated and there's a lot of confidential things, so we're very cautious about how to move forward as soon as we learn something. So, and as simple as Copilot, we went from you can use Copilot to now restricting where you can use Copilot.
Okay. Here.
So piggyback on the tap on
We're implementing the portal in ShareCon, and so we have for yours the Copilot engines.
It sounds like a chat bot, but it's been asked. We give you a license, but it's sort of a tool with it lower and active question or whoever even know you have connected to on the back. And you use all that permission about.
Yeah, great. It's something that i2e's built as well. I wrote it. Hey, well, that'll take care of sense. i2e built, right? So how did that sort of appear? I mean, these lines don't need the exact, but helping a team where they've got all these documents. They're all designed to the team, but how the heck are you supposed to? I mean, all of us, I'm sure, have been like, I know the answers out there, but I don't know what that. So yeah, chatbot specifically for that.
I'll bring up one that actually Devin, Peter, and I work on. It was a success, but a fail. I don't remember which side of the fence we were at. But we went right for the finish line and tried to do something predictive because we're like anti-data. So we were trying to look at steady milestones. And when we actually got down to what drivers would correlate with the predictive functions, we actually had a lot less data than we thought we did to the next level. But we learned from it. So as we want to go to the next level, we're building on our process.
I think that there's this level of accuracy of if it's unset right at all, there's predictions, yeah, that would be awesome. But it's nowhere near, it's like 80%, which is a big gap between that. And so, it was better than guessing, but not as good as the organization needed it to be. Maybe this, for this particular, cells, then you start to get, this enormous company that's run thousands and thousands of studies. Only 3 of them are valid for characters.
Then by the answer to yeah, then we will conduct an external data.
And that was one of our learnings is external data is tantamount to the success of anything, what we're trying to accomplish.
But the external data has the misalignment that on RB differences or nuance different. I saw the Pressware demo where they said we're connected to CT.dove, and they said AI on top of that can help align misalignment or in terminology or whatever, and I question how or if that's realistic. Human has to process, but you're narrowing in on what could I possibly want to process. So I thought that was an interesting real world example. I'm gonna move on to less than 10 minutes because I also want you guys to lift us up. Now I want to talk about why have things not worked. Here's brainstorming of why things haven't worked. All resource map from your perspective. Any pilots that haven't worked, talk about one, just not enough data to give high confidence. I'll talk about there's regulatory, the do festival was that concrete reasons you guys haven't been able to make more progress. Can anyone talk about a challenge or failure?
In Copilot, you can only upload 3 documents at a time. Shoot, that's just stupid.
You can't do that 4 degree objects at a time. So there's a technical limitation. Just let it be. Yeah, so resource forecasting pilot ultimately you probably say it was a failure to be carried forward. But the learning was, and this is, I think, here, right? Yeah. Here said this a moment ago, there was misaligned expectations on what the pilot was going to show and the degree of accuracy between what the algorithm work would output versus what they intuitively believe is true. And the point estimate versus a range that do is putting you as a light. And they have the tools they have, they like the tools they have, so because they built them, they inherently trust them, whether they are better or not, they trust it more than some big four coming and getting a slightly different answer. Summary quad report said you got 100, you're 40% of your tasks have no predecessors, you're successful. As a big set.
Yeah. Or else or that was a motor.
So similarly with data quality, we try to have it directly in FileSware so that the user is putting in quality at the entering point. But however, we also rely on other data that's outside of PlanetSquare. So we do have a dashboard as well. So that the purpose of that dashboard is not to track the quality of the input into it, not just that, but to get the insight and use that data to basically say the lack of compliance. Because when actually Tim was presenting on the process, we have so many standards at Pfizer. We can come up with a standard for everything. But the compliance to those standards is where we fall. And then so it's preventing us from moving forward into the AI and even getting into a very robust data lake to really use. So that's another one. And the third piece is we're starting to build something, actually like partnership with i2e, where we're trying to aggregate all of our PMO infrastructure into one space, getting it all cleaned up so it's ready for AI enabled as well. So what you would do manually to do the PMO is going to also be AI supported.
They share.
I was going to say the same. To me, they pulled the roles, the comparative sources.
The VP of Analytics took it on her shoulders to go quarter by quarter to different functions. So one function each quarter to help define a data dictionary. And, ontologies, alignment. And her theory was, I'm just going to do this forever. There's 10 different groups that you go to. I'm going every quarter, every 2.5 years. I'll cycle it back to the beginning. You've got a couple of hand raised, but this place. And yes, that's a cycle. That's one of the data mystics that we spoke about. Need it.
That could be a glossary or like acronym. Yeah. Firm said, yeah. A lot of companies have that, but is that going to be the source document when you search through an AI question, right? Is that going to come up as like, this is the true source of definitions?
Well, so will it come up when will that AI sort of know that? Is a good question. But insofar as it exists, there's a compliance question, but insofar as it exists, it gives you a fighting chance to have better data quality input. It doesn't guarantee it, but it allows folks to say, wait a minute, when you put in FBI, was it the actual first patient first visit or the first patient dosed, or what did you mean with that?